Gita Mastery Course, Trimester 6, Session 2. So just a moment, we will begin. Can you unplug that speaker? Yeah. So let's all chant Mangalacharan prayers together. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivan Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Deshatarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So here we begin with our next session with the quiz Gita Rewind. We were in chapter 16 discussing the divine and the demoniac. So based on that, here is your quiz for the day. Can we go to the next slide?
And be careful in marking this quiz. This quiz is easy. Try to get centum. Try to get all the answers correct. Mark a little carefully.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Question number 1. 26 divine qualities and 6 demoniac qualities are listed in chapter 16.
So option 3 is the right answer. Question 2. Charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice are essential qualities, and the right answer is option C, or grihastha.
And those of you who did not get this second question right, please go through the session again, because it's a very straightforward, simple question which we discussed in the session at detail. So I'm wondering why we didn't get it right.
I think one of the reasons is that, I don't know, we need to introspect that, are we taking notes? We must take notes when the session is going on. That will consolidate our learning.
And are we listening attentively?
Yeah, that also may be there. So maybe one good idea is to keep the cameras on.
The next question, purpose of charity is, and all of the above is the correct answer.
Question 4, a divine personality leads regulated life according to scripture injunctions, and the right answer is true.
By practicing devotional service, all divine qualities naturally manifest in us. Again, that is so good to see. At least this one you all have got right, 100% right. So good.
Question 6 is a trick question. Demons accept and follow scriptural authority, spiritual authority in times of difficulty. Well, then they will no longer be demons if they do so. So demons don't do that. So the correct answer is false.
Actually, it is not a tricky question if we attend carefully. How can demon follow the authority?
Then yeah, they are no longer demons.
Because one of the characteristic of demon is that they don't follow any authority. The next question, all of the above are the part of demoniac nature.
Question 8, the demons declare that the world is a product of lust only, and the answer is true.
And the 9th question, demoniac people are engaged in painful, horrible, destructive acts.
So option B was the right answer.
Good. So let's get into this, the chapter again. So we were in the middle section, the demoniac nature. We have already completed till verse number 9. And today we will get into verse number 10. And before we go there, here is a very nicely curated video about the demoniac nature and mentality, which sums up the sections what we have actually, the portion what we have actually covered, and the coming up few verses. So it's all summed up in this video. So please watch attentively. Just a moment. Can you share the screen?
It is already being shared, no?
No, it's not.
Invent something for sense gratification.
This video.
The demoniac is engaged in activities that will lead the world to destruction. They try to enjoy this material world to the utmost limit and always invent something for sense gratification. Such materialistic inventions are considered to be the advancement of human civilization. Still, the result is that people grow more violent and cruel to animals, and hostile to other human beings. They have no idea how to behave toward one another. Animal killing is very prominent amongst demoniac people. Such people are the enemies of the world because, ultimately, they invent or create something which will bring destruction to all. The demons have no satiation for their lust. They will go on increasing their insatiable desires for material enjoyment. Although they are always full of anxieties on account of accepting non-permanent things, they continue to engage in such activities out of illusion. They have no knowledge and cannot tell that they are heading the wrong way. Accepting non-permanent things, such demoniac people create their own god, create their own hymns, and chant accordingly. Thus they become more and more attracted to two things: sex enjoyment and accumulation of material wealth. Such demoniac people are only attracted by wine, women, gambling, and meat eating. Those are their unclean habits. Induced by pride and false prestige, they create some principles of religion unapproved by the Vedic injunctions. The demoniac accepts that the enjoyment of the senses is the ultimate goal of life, and this conception they maintain until death. They do not believe in life after death, and they do not understand that one takes on different types of bodies according to one's karma or activities in this world. Their life plans are never finished, and they go on preparing plan after plan, all of which never ends. As the demoniac person has no faith in God or the super soul within, he performs sinful activities simply for sense gratification. He does not know that a witness is sitting within his heart. Therefore he feels free to do anything for sense enjoyment, regardless of the consequences. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future, more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. The demoniac man knows no limit to his desire to acquire money. He thinks only of how much assessment he has just now and schemes to engage that stock of wealth further and further. For that reason, he does not hesitate to act in any sinful way and so deals in the black market for illegal gratification. He is enamored by the possessions he already has, such as land, family, house, and bank balance, and he is always planning to improve them. He believes in his own strength, and he does not know that whatever he is gaining is due to his past good deeds. He simply thinks that all his mass of wealth is due to his own endeavor. A demoniac person believes in the strength of his personal work, not in the law of karma. According to the law of karma, a man takes his birth in a high family, or becomes rich, or very well educated, or very beautiful because of good work in the past. The demoniac thinks that all these things are accidental and are due to the strength of one's ability. They do not sense any arrangement behind all the varieties of people, beauty, and education.
So this we saw in this video is in a nutshell the whole section. So we will go now verse by verse. Kamam ashritya dushpuram dambhamana madanvitaha mohat grihitva sadgrahan pravartante shuchivrataha. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. So this is a further description of this demoniac personality. So the whole guiding principle of his life, like why he works, we keep talking, why do I work, or why I do what I do. So why is he doing anything? What he is doing is because of insatiable lust. Kamam ashritya. So because of this intense calm, he always have this feeling for whatever he has acquired, it is not enough and he wants more. So insatiable lust, and absorbed in conceit of pride and false prestige. So when he has so much lust to hoard things, he actually has a lot of things also, and because of that, he becomes very proud. So be it in academic degrees, education, wealth, opulence, possession, so everything he has, and he is very proud of that. And it is also mentioned false prestige. So he has this false prestige because all the things which he is proud of is all material. He has no spiritual, he has not gained anything spiritually. So the whole body itself is temporary, and anything belonging to the body is also temporary. So whatever he has actually accumulated, it's just for a very small portion of time. And that is why it is mentioned false prestige. And the demoniac is always illusioned. Why is he illusioned? Because he thinks, I am the body. He does not see any difference. He believes in whatever I have to enjoy, let me do it now. Let me enjoy, let me gather more and more. And because of that, they are sworn to unclean work. Ashuchi vrataha. So we talk about the 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, and no intoxication. Whereas he's on the other side of it, so he actually engages in all these 4 type of activities, and he also does a lot of illegitimate things. So that is why it is unclean work is mentioned, attracted by the impermanent. What is impermanent? The whole material existence is impermanent. So he so believes that he is a body, and he is just working and gathering these impermanent things. So this is the demoniac tendencies and conduct. Kamam Purusham, which means insatiable lust for material enjoyment. So he has this ever increasing lust which is never satisfied. Dambha Man Madan Vitaha, they are absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige. So they are actually blinded by pride. They are in illusion and they cannot see from the eyes of scriptures. They do not give any attention to the scriptures. So, and they do not believe in any superior authority. So that is why they cannot see through the eyes of scriptures, and hence they cannot distinguish between what is right and what is wrong, what I should be doing and what I should not be doing. So that is their state of mind. And then pravartante ashuchihi vrata, so unclean vows and activities attracted by impermanence. So they are attracted to women and gambling and meat eating and liquor. So this is how they are attracted to impermanent, and from there they get this insatiable lust.
When attraction to women is being spoken about, it's about the opposite sex.
Ye dil mange more, no satisfaction and constant hankering. It's a demoniac tendency. Chintam aparimeya cha pralayantam upashritaha kamopabhoga parama etavad iti nishchitaha asha pashashatair baddha kamakrodha prayayanaha ihante kamabhogartham anyayenartha sanchayam.
They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. So here their belief system is being described by the Lord. They believe, what is the goal of life? To enjoy. And I must, so many people are enjoying, so I must also enjoy. How am I being left behind? If they're enjoying this much, I should enjoy more. So that's the whole purpose of my life. This is what their belief system is, that's the prime necessity of human civilization. And if you notice that this demoniac tendency, this particular point, we see that how our whole governments, our whole culture, our whole business, everybody is moving towards, consumerism. We must consume, everybody should consume. My parents, they had one house, one scooter, one car, whole life. It is sufficient for them. In our case, car is 3 years old, 4 years old, change. Mobile phone, now there is this plan from Samsung, I don't know, maybe from Apple also. that you buy a phone and after 1 year you give it off and they'll give you one, they'll buy back and then you can buy the next one. Although that phone for which one has spent 70,000-80,000 rupees will definitely run for 3-4 years. At least 2 to 3 years it will run. But we want to change it every year. Right? So consumerism. We want to go buy a soap, just for maybe few minutes in a day that we have to apply and clean our skin. Probably there are 100 varieties of soap. Right? If you go to a good shop, for everything for everything there is so much variety, right? So all of that originates from this conception that gratifying the senses is the prime necessity. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Because if I have to gratify my senses, of course everything has a limit. The senses themselves have a limit. The resources which I have to gratify my senses have a limit. The objects themselves have a limit. Everything is limited in this material world, and even after what I get is limited. What I get is temporary. I with a lot of hard work I get something, and then it's temporary. Only for some time it gives me pleasure. And then the senses also begin to lose their strength. So we go to the doctor, eyes are a problem, ears are a problem, the whole body and senses are a problem. Wealth is so much. And then we want the doctors to fix our body in a way that we can continue to enjoy. So thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. Because resources are not enough, so by hook or by crook, they have to get it. So I was telling in the other session also that there was this survey among the wealthy about their satisfaction levels, and they found that the millionaires, there are billionaires, super rich, and then there are less than millionaires. So they found that the millionaires were the least satisfied. They were the least satisfied because they felt that they do not have sufficient wealth. Right? So that is one.
Materialist would say that is why they were millionaire, because they were not satisfied. Because if they become satisfied, then they would stop working hard. So that is how we have been taught. That is how we have been conditioned, that you have to work hard, harder than an ass, and then only you would be successful.
Parents tell us that, the teachers tell us that, the bosses tell us that, the children tell us that, everybody, the whole culture is now moved into this direction. We've really gone really far in this. Simple living and high thinking is over for most people, especially if you look at the current generation. So it is really, we are really going away from that.
High living and complex thinking.
And here it's mentioned illegal means. So I'm intrigued. I've spoken about it earlier also. People, in India, some of the biggest scams, we will find businessmen and we will find the politicians involved in some of the biggest, thousands of crores of rupees. I was thinking, how much money one wants at the end of the day. So for them, the strategy is twofold. Get money by hook or crook and try to avoid the law enforcement, the judicial system. Somehow protect yourself from that, by having connections with the police, having connections with the judiciary, having connections with politicians, trying to protect yourself, and on the other hand, by hook or by crook, gratify, get money. If I cannot get ghee from the straight finger, curl it. अगर सीधी उंगली से घी नहीं निकलता तो टेढ़ी कर लो. So that is the conception of, if that is a conception, then it is a demoniac consumption. So this person is bound by hundreds and thousands of desires. It is, you can just imagine like that small bug which is flying and suddenly gets caught in the web of the spider, and the more it tries to come out, actually it gets more and more and more covered. So that is the situation of this person. And this fellow, this demoniac person, he has no knowledge. He is not interested in spiritual life. He does not know that the Lord is residing in the heart and he is observing everything. He knows our thought, he knows our action. So it is not that if I'm able to avoid the law enforcement and I could make crores and crores of rupees, like sometimes, there people just don't want, like in India we have GST, and I know personally businessmen who try to work around in ways so that they don't have to pay GST, so that they don't have to pay the taxes to the government. So somehow the other, just keep the money because it is not enough. It is not, I want more, right? So they do not know that the Lord is residing in the heart, and I am accountable for every act that I do. I'm accountable to the Lord. Even if I'm able to manage the current government, and I'm able to manage the police, and I'm able to manage the government departments, a judiciary, I'm able to manage it. Everything is manageable, and I can manage all of that, but I cannot manage Krishna. He is supremely independent. I cannot bribe him and get my ways done, get my things done. So that's the whole demoniac attitude and engagement. The whole attitude of the demoniac person is driven by this thing that ultimate goal is sense gratification, kamopabhoga. So this is what drives him, and that is how his attitude is, and what, of course, he is engaged, secure money by hook or by crook, by legal ways, due to thousands and thousands of desires. That's why the word asha pash, he's caught in that network of those desires. So this is what he's engaged in. Now, this demon is not my neighbor and is not my boss, or is not somebody else whom I meet on the street. There are these demoniac tendencies that are actually very much in ourselves. And the whole, what we need to do is, yes, we need to look at the world for this, and we also need to look within ourselves, that what are those demoniac tendencies in me, and what is the result. Krishna is now going to talk about the result of such demoniac tendencies, and if I continue on this way, what will happen to me. So I must be very careful and uproot them from my heart.
Promotion after promotion, party after party, movie after movie, vacation after vacation, one asset after the other, and no time for Krishna. Death is inevitable. It will take away all. So not only for demon, not only for divine, for everybody, that is the fact, that death is inevitable. So where am I spending my time just to satisfy these mundane material desires, which anyway would not be satisfied or in the Supreme Lord?
You have written of one asset after another. So we must see that whatever we have is engaged in the service of the Lord, and after I leave, still they are engaged in the service of the Lord. So that is how I must plan.
So now there is a section break here, verse number 13 to 15, demoniac tendencies and conduct.
So there's another short video.
Volume, video.
Who comes into competition with such a demoniac man is his enemy. There are many demoniac people, and each is an enemy to the others. This enmity becomes deeper and deeper, between persons, then between families, then between societies, and at last between nations. Therefore there is constant strife, war, and enmity all over the world. Generally, a demoniac person thinks of himself as the supreme God, and a demoniac preacher tells his followers, "Why are you seeking God elsewhere? You are all yourselves God. Whatever you like, you can do. Don't believe in God. Throw away God. God is dead." These are the demoniac's preachings. Being always against God's supremacy, a demoniac person does not like to believe in the scriptures. He is envious of both the scriptures and the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is caused by his so-called prestige and his accumulation of wealth and strength. He does not know that the present life is a preparation for the next life. Not knowing this, he is actually envious of his own self as well as of others. He commits violence on other bodies and his own. Being envious of the scriptures and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he puts forward false arguments against the existence of God and denies the scriptural authority. He thinks of himself as independent and powerful in every action. He believes that since no one can equal him in strength, power, or wealth, he can act in any way and no one can stop him. If he has an enemy,